Hey everyone, this is Gerard, also known as Avison on the Discord. Just going over how I made some of these cards. So as you can see here, we have a bunch of the cards that I've made. I'm going to catch a lot of flack for using the tech as the default for this example when I'm really a Union player. I just think the tech back looks a little bit cooler. So let's just go over what these cards are real quick. So these guys are an option for MakePlayingCards.com. They are a heavier grade than Magic cards. They have that nice snap, okay? I'm going to go over a couple of the options so that way you can have a little bit of a price point, a little bit of an in-between, and then obviously what you could do here with what I have set up as well. I went with the thicker cardstock and especially a high gloss. This was prior to the whole sleeve thing that I was about to do. Here's a tugger. These are just the Dragon Shield sleeves, 100. If you want to buy more or in bulk, that's fine. But in the end, I went with a high gloss because prior to the sleeves, here we go, let me get that out of the way. I wanted to be able to cross these things off. So if you can see here, right, you got the ability to cross things off, mark things. You know, you can even number them 1, right, number 2, all that goodness. And then you could still, for the most part, see, wipe those all off, wipe them off, and it'd be completely fine. So the high gloss is a nice option if you want to use dry erase to do all the marking for your cards. I'm going to be honest, there is not a super great option to do front and back, just because of the dimension of what we have here. So the dimensions of the card and the dimensions of the graphic, or I guess the layout for each image of the card is a little bit off, just slightly. But with this, I was able to find, I guess, a perfect standard card size that still had a border. But if you try and print these guys without the black border, as you'll see on MakePlayingCards.com, you get really close to cutting off. It enlarges the card a little bit, but you get really close to cutting off the bottom and the S1, S2, S3, S4, all that side stuff. And the points value way up top. So with that said, without further ado, let's show you how I actually got these guys. Oh, and just a real quick thing. Another reason why I don't truly look for the back is we like to play a variant where we have our points of 60 kind of off to the side. We shuffle them up, and then we draw our waves randomly. So we could get a bunch of supports, a bunch of other stuff. It's just a little bit of a rando variant that we do. Also, once I put these guys down into sleeves, this kind of negates the need for gloss because you could just draw with a dry erase straight on these cards, or on these sleeves, and then you can replace the sleeve instead of the cards. The only one that is weird, and this is because the back of the victory card has a built-in border from the Lazy Forger, and that just means that it doesn't quite fit perfectly and bleed out into nothingness, which is just the image like the rest. You actually see a little bit of the border on those. So these guys get a little wonky. For future updates, if the Lazy Forger just does a plain back for victory cards without the border, that would fix that problem perfectly. So other than that, I've printed out a good amount of these cards. I'm going to be real honest. They come in weird numbers because they do print them in sheets of 9 and then cut them appropriately. So you'll see a lot of the standard poker deck, I guess, multiples. So like 52, 126, really weird numbers. But you can usually get about 2 to 3 of each card per faction with a little bit of a heavy set on some of the more used ones there. So like tech, I'm going to be honest, I did a lot of the spider drones because I just like them and I figured I was going to use them. And then if you look here, I have a lot of tuggers and gun wagons. I think I have 1 dust rider in there just in case. I do not like using dust riders. I do like the models. I do like the unit as far as like what their goal and design is. I just don't use them, so I didn't print a lot of those cards. As for these, I didn't know if there was a set number. So what I ended up doing for the victory card deck is I printed up 2 of them, 4 in total, because I also printed a double set for my friend. and I just mushed them together. And I'll be honest, these are awesome. And when I completely design that campaign, I think there might be a lot more of those in potential works for that scalable campaign that I'm trying to do. All right, so without further ado, let's hop in to make playing cards and actually show you how we can get these settings and what to do. All right, everyone, without further ado, let's just get into how we made those cards. Don't get distracted by all these other things. You're going to be going to makeplayingcards.com. Again, that's makeplayingcards.com. As you can see, they have tons of stuff available, so you can trick these out as much as you want, really. But for our purposes of the cards that you saw earlier, you're going to go right here in the search bar, and you're going to choose the custom black border sized cards. Okay, custom black poker sized cards. Basically, what this is it's going to be a custom poker sized card with a black border. They also have a white border if you want that. And then they have this other one that you're like, it's exactly the same. If you look, this one's shorter than this one. Okay, you do not want the 2.48. You want the standard size or traditional. Ooh, I apologize. Sorry, I have toddlers. This is going to be a 63.5 millimeter by 88 point something millimeter, and then for all of the non-metric users, it's going to be a 2.5 by 3.5 inch card. So this is going to be the traditional size that you want. I have done, again, the white border. It looks good too, just for a different game. So we're going to do black border though. So go ahead and click it. And then here you will see again. Here's a 63.5 by 88.9 millimeter traditional size. You want to make sure it's traditional size. All these are going to range. This is quantity, so if you buy one deck, it will be 16.95, right? But just keep this in mind. This is where it kills you. Shipping is going to basically double this. Okay, and this is for 55. So 55 cards, as you can see here, and we'll see how this adjusts live. Oh, sorry, I think our our vacuum went off. But what I want to show you here is how these get affected and what's I guess what options I chose for those cards. I'll go over some of the other ones. So standard smooth. Okay, if you want to see the other card stock, just click the see details. Have fun with it. Linen's gonna be your traditional standard 52 card playing like casino style deck. Right, it's got those lines through it. Very, very flexible. I don't like those for this game, so I didn't use them. The ones that I would use is, if you are a Magic the Gathering player, it's going to be the S33 Superior Smooth. Okay, that is the exact thickness grade of paper for Magic the Gathering. If you want what I got, it was the thick standard. Okay, I did A35 thick standard. That's just a little bit more robust of a card. So that way you can bend it, drop it, do a little bit more to it. It's fine. It'll live. If you need a budget option, standard smooth is great. Smooth is great as well. These two are a little bit cheaper. I mean, like maybe $1. But they are a lot thinner. So be aware, if you bend them, they're gonna show wear and tear. The next one is plastic. Plastic we have done for a job at work. Plastic is great. It's a very thin plastic, and it holds up pretty well, and the prints are great on it. You could potentially do plastic with high gloss and just have it straight out the box as basically a plastic card. They are pretty thick. What's a good thickness? Think of poster board. They are the thickness of poster board with the texture and gloss of plastic. So, in my case, I'll just show you. We do thick standard. Okay. The next one is going to be super fun, and see how that adjusts price for you. So it goes up a little bit. The next one, I'll be honest, again, see how these are all in like intervals of 8, or sorry, intervals of 9, right? Ones that I noticed where it makes a huge jump between 126 and 144 in price. So 126 is enough to really do a lot of stuff that you need. And then, as you can see, it increases it a little bit. And then right here, you just add on the shipping, and the shipping comes, I want to say to about like 14, 15, depending where you live. Okay. Um, Again, if you don't have to go ham on that, if you don't need to, you can go 72 is a nice number as well. You can usually fit, I think, about 2 of each faction in there. Drops it significantly. Either way, you pick the size that you need, okay, based on the cards that you want to put in there. Honestly, I would just put together a list of everything you want and then pick up the best size that you can and fill in the gaps with just some extras or victory cards or something like that. The next one is going to be print type, full color. You can obviously go gold for front, silver, holographic. That would be hilarious. You could do black and white as well, I think, in here. Full color is going to be your best bet. That's what I used for the ink. The next one's finish. You're going to want to choose between gloss and then the NBC game card finish. The NBC game card finish is going to be that matte texture. So basically exactly like a Magic card. The gloss is what I used. That's the one that you want to use if you want to use dry erase on it. I'm sure you could, in theory, use it with this one, but this one lets a lot more fluid and ink through it. The gloss is very resistant to any form of dry erase ink. Sorry, there we go. The next one, you do not need to do this at all, but it's just a booklet. If you really want to see all the cards that you got in a booklet form, it does increase the price. Oh, by the way, the print type and the finish do not change the price. It's just the cardstock, the type of cardstock, and the deck size. The next one is going to be packaging. I'm going to be honest, if sometimes these guys, just due to the shipping process, I would put like a disposable card up on top in the first slot, and I'll show you that in a second, and a disposable card on the back slot, because sometimes, not often at all, the top and the bottom card during shipping can get a little bit smudged or scratched just based on how it was packed. That was in the earlier days, not so much now. I just go shrink wrapped. If you want to make a box, you can. It's up to you. Once you're here, we don't have a booklet, we have this. I'm going to go to gloss, see a little bit of a change. You just go to start design. So here is where the magic begins. It's going to ask you step 1, how do you want to do this, right? Number of cards, just double checking all this stuff. You can change it if you want. But right here in step 2, this is where you're going to really make these cards. So you want different images for each one, for the front. And right here is where you're going to see all of the low-res renderings of these. And so what I'm doing off screen is I'm actually going to the area in my computer that has, let's see, full spectrum dominance, all of the cards. Let's go to rules, all of the new cards, which are right here. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Singles. And that's a big thing too, is you want singles, okay? Let's just throw in the conglomerate. And you can just drag and drop all of them. Like, just drag and drop all of them. Okay? It'll take a little bit of time. Boop, 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 boop. Okay? And it's pretty intuitive, right? So, if you just want one of all, you can just say, help me autofill these images. Otherwise, you're going to go through and you're going to basically click, I want 1, I want 2, right? You can also drag. It's really up to you. And as you can see here, it will give you a preview. So if you double click them, it'll give you a preview. And it'll show you the bleed line and the safe zone. The reason we can't do this on a non-black border option in here, and I've tried a lot of different options before I found this perfectly, is because these guys, the S1, S2, S3, and the damage chart and the points are just too close to the edge. So for future reference, if Lazy Forger wants to use this a little bit more regularly or help it easily, he can download the template for this and make the cards perfectly to scale for it. So that way it's easier for people to load up. Or we could just suck it up, Buttercup, and do these whole black bordered ones, okay? But this bleed line is just making sure that everything within this is going to be safe. Everything outside of that is not, and as you can tell, we have a little bit outside of it. So as long as nothing's crazy out of that bounds, you're good. You don't have to hit apply. You can just keep loading them up, right? It doesn't matter. Just keep in mind that if you do like a set of the conglomerate from card 1 to 8, that you have to load up the backs to the conglomerate and then the other faction as well. And then you have to make sure that the conglomerate back goes from 1 to 8. Okay, so just make sure, and then you start the new backs on the appropriate cards. And it'll show you that in a second. So I'm going to just not do the rest because I just want to get through. Because I'm not actually, yeah, still some blanks. It's okay. We're not actually purchasing this. And it's going to ask you some weird things here. So the next step is going to say, hey, do you want to like actually modify the card here? You do not. Okay, you want to do absolutely nothing here. You don't want to add text. Just hit next. The next one, this is asking for the back. So you still want 72 cards for the back. And then it's going to ask you a couple things. This is where it gets wonky. Again, if you have 2 different factions that you're loading up, or 3 or more, right? You're going to have different images. But it's super nice if you don't, because if you just do 1 per order, you could just do same image, okay? Otherwise it's different images, but we're going to just do the same image. And then it will just give you this one drag and drop option. So if we go over here, let me go back and get all the backs. And the conglomerate back, here it is, boom, drag. Done. So if you see here, this is where the victory card, and I'll actually just bring up real quick the victory card one to show you what I'm talking about and why we have that little bit of an awkward moment with it. So single victory card backs. So here's the back. So if we look, the back already has its own border on it, and so because of that, it actually will so this stuff that's past the red might get printed. Okay, this is just the safe zone, and then this is out towards the bleed zone, so it could be there, it could not, depends on how accurate the machine is calibrated for them. But as you see here, we just see a little bit of the black border that you have here. So again, these don't have that, so they just have a nice crisp back. It's right there. Conglomerate looks pretty sharp up there, and then you would just hit next. Once you pick your single back, again, if you did not pick a single deck for that, if you were doing 2 factions, you would actually have to put in both, and you'd have to drag them in one by one for every single card number, every single card slot. Do you want to put anything back here? Here you could do it, right? Like if you really wanted to put something in here and say add text, right? Oh, I know this isn't the union, but let's just apply it. You could, if you really wanted to, apply union. You could drag it. You could increase its size. Let's do 72. I don't know if that'll work, right? You can do this if you really want to. I did not. I chose not to because I actually like the artwork. So you can just get rid of that if you don't want it. Oh my goodness. Yes, I would like to delete the label. And then once you're here, then it gets into the proofing process. The proofing process is where you can see, so this is where you'll easily would see, like if you had a union card on the front and accidentally put a conglomerate card back there, you would see it here. We didn't fill in all these, right, because I was just showing an example, but this is what it would look like, okay? These little dice slots will fit nicely a 8 to 10 millimeter dice, maybe a 12. And then other than that, you'll scroll to the bottom. You're going to click this. Oh, this is the only part where I cheated. Sorry, Lazy Forger, for this. Is that, yes, I was authorized for that, so that way I can print them. I'm going to be honest. IP law-wise, the site is very, like, cool, whatever. So, again, I would say, like, if anybody's selling these for them, make sure that you give them credit and their dues, and then you just hit add, right? Add to cart. Again, this is going to be all fine and dandy, and I just wanted to show you, let's see, let's go to checkout. I just wanted to show you how much. Would you like to add a box? No, I would not like to add a box. Just wanted to show you, let's see. Just wanted to show you the whatchamacallit, oh my goodness, I guess the shipping. But let's see, I don't know, they used to have a predict shipping, but it's not here anymore, so I apologize, so I won't be able to do that. But basically just make sure that like you anticipate, see, like this isn't bad, 22 for 72, and then basically this will come to about, I want to say 37, 38 for 72 cards. You know, anything past that, it's basically going to be around like 50 to 55 per faction. So just keep that in mind. Again, depending on where you are. So it does take a minute to have them approve it, and it does take a minute to have them. So you will usually get these within 2 to 4 weeks. 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how crazy it is. And as you could tell, I've had them for a lot of different orders, okay, over the years. And then this is just the latest ones, but I've had them for quite a bit for a lot of different things. So I do recommend them. Alright, well, that is how those guys are made. And that is all I got. If you have questions, just let me know on the Discord, and I will try and get them done for you.